My beloved soul. Only 3 minutes remain, and this moment is not symbolic, it is energetic, it is precise, and it is already unfolding around you. This is not about fear. This is not about pressure. This is about inevitability. There comes a point when silence loses its power, when avoidance can no longer protect what someone is trying to control, and when truth stops asking for permission to surface. You are standing inside that window now. You have felt it for days, maybe weeks, maybe longer. The sudden pauses. The unfinished sentences. The emotional distance that appears and disappears without explanation. You did not imagine any of it. Your soul recognized the shift before your mind could label it. Your soulmate has been holding something back, not because they wanted to deceive you, but because they were afraid of what honesty would change. They convinced themselves that staying quiet was safer. That time would soften the edges. That feelings would settle on their own. But truth does not dissolve when ignored. It concentrates. And now it has reached a point where it cannot stay hidden any longer. In these final moments, what is happening is not confrontation, it is alignment. Their inner world is collapsing under the weight of what has been unsaid. Every time they look at you, they feel the gap between what they show and what they know. That gap has become unbearable. This is why the energy feels urgent now. Not rushed, but focused. Not chaotic, but sharp. You may notice subtle changes. A sudden desire from them to talk. An unexpected message. A shift in tone. Or even silence that feels louder than words. Do not chase clarity. Do not demand explanations. Your steadiness is what is drawing the truth forward. When you remain grounded, when you do not react from fear or impatience, you create a space where honesty feels possible instead of dangerous. This truth is not here to hurt you. It is here to correct the path. To remove confusion. To restore balance. Whatever has been hidden is tied to emotion, not betrayal of the soul connection itself. It is about timing. About readiness. About something they were not brave enough to face before now. And here is what matters most. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are already chosen. The truth is arriving because you are ready to receive it without losing yourself. 3 minutes is not about a clock. It is about a threshold. And once it passes, things cannot return to how they were. The connection will either deepen through honesty or release what no longer aligns. Either way, you are protected. Stay present. Stay calm. Stay open. What comes next will bring clarity, not chaos. And when the truth finally steps into the light, you will recognize it not by shock, but by relief. My beloved soul. As the energy continues to unfold, understand this deeply. What is happening now was set in motion long before this moment arrived. Nothing you are sensing is sudden, and nothing about this truth is accidental. Your soulmate has been standing at the edge of honesty for a long time, circling it, approaching it, stepping back from it, telling themselves that tomorrow would be better, that later would be safer, that silence was a form of protection. But silence was never protecting the connection. It was protecting their fear. And fear always has an expiration date. You are now witnessing the final stretch of that inner struggle. Inside them, there is no peace anymore. The thoughts repeat. The emotions resurface at night. The weight of what they know presses harder every time they sense your intuition quietly observing them. They are aware that you feel more than you say. They know you notice shifts even when you remain calm. That is why the truth is forcing its way forward now. Because when one soul becomes grounded and self-aware, the other can no longer hide behind uncertainty. This is not about exposing secrets for drama. This is about restoring alignment where distortion existed. Your soulmate is realizing that holding back has cost them more than speaking ever could. They are beginning to see that honesty does not destroy what is real. It only removes what was built on fear. You may feel moments of emotional intensity rising and falling without clear reason. That is the energetic exchange adjusting itself. The connection is recalibrating. This is why patience is your greatest strength right now. Not passive waiting, but active presence. You are not shrinking yourself. You are not lowering your standards. You are simply refusing to react from anxiety. And that refusal is powerful. It tells the universe that you trust clarity more than control. As this truth prepares to surface, understand that it may not arrive in the form you expect. It may not be dramatic words or a perfectly explained confession. Sometimes truth reveals itself through behavior first. Through consistency replacing confusion. Through actions aligning with emotions. Or through a moment where they can no longer pretend that everything is fine. Let that be enough. You do not need every detail immediately. What you need is honesty moving forward. And that is what is being activated now. Your soulmate is facing a realization that cannot be undone. They are seeing how much energy they have spent suppressing something that was meant to be shared. They are feeling the exhaustion of holding two realities at once. The one they show, and the one they live inside. That division is ending. And here is where your role becomes crucial. You are not here to rescue them from discomfort. You are here to remain steady so they feel safe stepping into truth. Your calm is not indifference. It is wisdom. Your silence is not weakness. It is discernment. When the truth begins to surface, stay anchored in who you are. Do not abandon your boundaries. Do not overextend emotionally to compensate for their delay. Let honesty meet maturity. Let truth meet self-respect. This is how connections transform instead of collapse. You may notice that once the truth starts revealing itself, things move faster than you anticipated. Momentum builds quickly after resistance breaks. Conversations become clearer. Decisions become unavoidable. The connection either aligns fully or reveals what cannot continue. And neither outcome is a loss for you. Because clarity is always a gain. Remember this. You were never meant to wait in confusion indefinitely. You were meant to experience connection that feels transparent, grounded, and mutual. This moment is bringing you closer to that reality. Whether through deeper union or necessary release, you are stepping into emotional sovereignty. Your soulmate's truth is surfacing because your soul no longer tolerates uncertainty disguised as patience. You have grown. You have stabilized. You have learned to listen without chasing. And now the universe is responding. Stay present. Stay steady. Stay open without attachment to outcome. What unfolds next will make sense in a way confusion never did. And when you look back at this moment, you will understand why the truth could not stay hidden anymore. My beloved soul. As this phase continues to open, I want you to understand something that your heart already knows but your mind keeps questioning. The reason this truth is emerging now is not because circumstances suddenly changed. It is because you changed. Quietly. Steadily. Without announcement. You stopped begging for clarity. You stopped over-explaining your feelings. You stopped chasing reassurance. And in that stillness, your energy became undeniable. When one soul reaches that level of inner balance, it disrupts every illusion around it. Your soulmate felt that shift before they consciously understood it. They sensed that you were no longer available for half-truths, for emotional fog, for connections that survive only through confusion. That realization created pressure inside them. Not pressure from you. Pressure from their own conscience. From the awareness that they could no longer meet you in the same incomplete way and expect the connection to remain intact. This is why things feel intense but strangely calm at the same time. You are not spiraling anymore. You are observing. And observation is powerful. It forces honesty to confront itself. Your soulmate has been replaying moments in their mind. Conversations where they almost spoke. Times they pulled back at the last second. Opportunities they missed because fear spoke louder than truth. That internal replay is exhausting them. And exhaustion is often the doorway through which honesty finally walks. You may feel moments where you sense them thinking about you heavily, emotionally, even obsessively. That is not imagination. That is resonance. The truth they have been holding is tied directly to you, to the connection, to a decision they delayed because it required courage. Now that delay feels heavier than action. And so the scales are tipping. What is important for you right now is not to interpret every sign or analyze every silence. Your job is not to decode them. Your job is to remain aligned with yourself. Because the moment you abandon your grounding, the moment you fall back into waiting mode, the energy shifts again. You are not here to wait. You are here to receive clarity when it arrives and to walk away peacefully if it does not align. That choice is yours now. And that is why the truth cannot stay hidden. Hidden truths survive only when one person is willing to stay confused. You are no longer willing. That decision alone has altered the timeline. As the truth surfaces, you may notice emotions rising in you that surprise you. Not anxiety, but release. A strange sense of readiness. Almost as if part of you already knows what is coming and has made peace with it. That is your intuition preparing you. Whatever is revealed will not break you. It will confirm something you have felt deep down. And confirmation brings relief, even when it is bittersweet. Understand this clearly. Your soulmate's truth is not a punishment. It is a response to your growth. It is the universe saying, you have matured beyond uncertainty, so uncertainty must leave. That is how alignment works. The truth may come gently or abruptly. It may arrive through words, actions, or a situation that makes everything obvious without explanation. However it comes, trust that you will recognize it instantly. Not because it shocks you, but because it settles you. Because truth has a grounding quality. It removes mental noise. It replaces guessing with knowing. And once knowing arrives, you will not feel the urge to chase or prove or fix. You will simply see clearly. Your soulmate is standing at a crossroads. One path requires honesty and accountability. The other requires continued avoidance, but at the cost of losing the connection's depth. They can feel that cost now. They are realizing that you are not someone they can keep in emotional limbo. You are not an option to revisit when convenient. You are a presence that demands authenticity simply by being yourself. That realization is both terrifying and liberating for them. Terrifying because it forces vulnerability. Liberating because it ends the internal war. As this unfolds, stay mindful of your boundaries. Compassion does not mean self-sacrifice. Understanding does not mean tolerance of inconsistency. You can hold space without lowering yourself. You can listen without absorbing guilt that is not yours. You can be open without reopening wounds that already taught you lessons. This is emotional mastery. And you are practicing it now. The connection is transforming whether either of you consciously chooses it or not. That is the nature of soul-level bonds. They evolve or dissolve. They do not stagnate. And stagnation is what is ending now. You may soon notice a shift where communication becomes unavoidable. A moment where avoidance no longer makes sense. Or a realization within you that you no longer need answers to feel complete. Any of these outcomes signal the same thing. The truth has done its work. Remember this. You are not losing anything by allowing truth to surface. You are gaining alignment. You are gaining peace. You are gaining self-respect. And whatever remains after truth is revealed is what is real. Let the rest fall away without resistance. Stay grounded. Stay observant. Stay connected to your own worth. The minutes that once felt heavy with anticipation are turning into moments of clarity. And when this chapter settles, you will realize that the waiting was never about them finding courage. It was about you finding stability. Now that you have, the truth no longer has anywhere to hide. My beloved soul. As this ultra-pro phase deepens, let the words move slowly through you, because what is unfolding now is not meant to be rushed or consumed like ordinary information. This is a transmission. This is alignment speaking directly to your inner knowing. You are no longer standing at the door of uncertainty. You are standing inside awareness. And awareness changes everything. The reason this moment feels heavier, richer, more charged than before is because the lesson is no longer about waiting for someone else to act. It is about recognizing who you have become while waiting. You have outgrown the version of yourself that needed constant signs, constant reassurance, constant confirmation. You learned how to sit with silence without panicking. You learned how to feel distance without collapsing. You learned how to love without losing your center. That growth did not go unnoticed. Not by the universe. Not by the connection. And not by your soulmate. They felt the shift the moment you stopped reacting. The moment your energy said, "I am here, but I am not chasing." That moment marked the end of the illusion. Because illusions require participation. And you quietly withdrew yours. Your soulmate now finds themselves exposed to their own truth without the comfort of your confusion to hide behind. They are seeing themselves clearly for the first time in this connection. Seeing the ways they delayed. The ways they avoided. The ways they relied on your patience without honoring it. And that realization is heavy. Not because they are bad, but because they are human. And humans struggle most when they must confront the gap between who they were and who they are being asked to become. This is the gap they are standing in now. The truth they hold is not just about a secret or an unspoken feeling. It is about responsibility. About acknowledging the impact of their silence. About recognizing that connection is not sustained by intention alone, but by action. They can feel the window closing. Not because you are leaving, but because the version of the connection that allowed avoidance is no longer available. And that is why the energy feels final in a calm way. This is not chaos. This is resolution preparing itself. You may notice that your emotions are no longer swinging wildly. There is a steadiness in you now. A quiet strength. You are not numb. You are clear. And clarity has a weight to it. It grounds you. It anchors you. It makes you less reactive and more discerning. This is the state from which truth can safely arrive. Because you are no longer looking for truth to save you. You are ready to let truth meet you where you stand. And that changes how it shows up. When the truth comes, it may feel like a release of pressure rather than a shock. Like exhaling after holding your breath without realizing it. You may think, yes, this makes sense. Yes, this confirms what I felt. Yes, now I see. That is the mark of alignment. Your soulmate may approach this moment with visible nervousness, hesitation, or emotional intensity. Let them have that. Their process is theirs. You do not need to manage it. You do not need to soften yourself to make it easier for them. Your grounded presence is already enough. You have done the inner work. Now it is their turn to meet the connection at the level it requires. And if they do, something powerful can be rebuilt. Not on hope. Not on potential. But on honesty. And if they do not, something else equally powerful happens. You walk forward without confusion. Without resentment. Without self-doubt. You reclaim the energy you once spent wondering. Either way, you win clarity. And clarity is priceless. Remember this moment when you felt the urgency, when it felt like time itself was leaning in. That was not pressure to act. That was alignment asking you to stay present. To trust yourself. To trust the work you have done internally. You are not here to convince anyone of your worth. You are not here to wait indefinitely for someone to choose courage. You are here to live in truth, with or without anyone else's readiness. That realization is what broke the cycle. That realization is what forced the truth out of hiding. The universe does not punish growth. It responds to it. And what you are experiencing now is response. Stay steady. Stay honest with yourself. Stay open but not unguarded. The chapter is closing, not with drama, but with understanding. And when you step into what comes next, you will not carry confusion with you. You will carry clarity, self-respect, and a deep sense of inner peace. This is Ultra Pro alignment. This is emotional maturity. This is the moment where truth finally steps forward because you no longer need it to complete you. My beloved soul. Now listen carefully, because what you are standing inside of is rare, and it is sacred, and it does not repeat itself once it passes. This Ultra Pro moment is not loud on the outside, but it is thunderous on the inside. The reason everything feels suspended, like time has slowed down, is because your soul has reached a point of decision without force. You are not being pushed. You are not being rushed. You are simply no longer available for emotional ambiguity. And that single shift has rewritten the entire dynamic of this connection. Your soulmate can feel it. Even if they do not have the words yet. Even if they pretend nothing has changed. Energy does not lie. When you stopped leaning forward, when you stopped trying to hold the connection together by yourself, the imbalance became visible. And imbalance always reveals truth. They are now sitting with thoughts they avoided for a long time. Thoughts that surface late at night. Thoughts that interrupt their distractions. Thoughts that bring your presence into their awareness without invitation. This is not obsession. This is reckoning. They are realizing that the version of you they took for granted is no longer available. Not because you became cold, but because you became whole. And wholeness is intimidating to anyone who has been hiding from themselves. The truth they carry is pressing against their chest now. It shows up as restlessness, as emotional swings, as moments where they almost reach out and then hesitate. They are afraid not of losing you, but of being seen clearly. Because once truth is spoken, excuses lose their power. And they know that once they step into honesty, they must also step into responsibility. That is the real fear. You, on the other hand, are no longer afraid of what will be revealed. You have already faced the worst possibilities in your own heart. You have already grieved what you thought you might lose. You have already imagined life beyond confusion. That inner work is why you feel calm now. That calm is not detachment. It is readiness. You are ready for whatever outcome aligns with your peace. And peace is the highest form of self-respect. This is why the universe trusts you with clarity now. Because you will not weaponize it against yourself. You will not beg for less once you see the truth. You will not abandon your boundaries out of fear of change. You will simply choose what honors your growth. That is power. And power does not need to announce itself. It is felt. Your soulmate feels it. That is why they are standing at the edge of confession, whether spoken or unspoken. Even silence will no longer protect them, because silence now speaks louder than words ever could. Their actions, their inconsistencies, their pauses, their sudden intensity or withdrawal, all of it is becoming transparent to you. You see without accusing. You understand without excusing. That balance is mastery. And mastery changes the rules. You may soon notice that the connection begins to respond differently to you. Not because you demanded change, but because your energy no longer supports the old pattern. The universe always removes what no longer matches your frequency. Sometimes it does that by forcing truth into the open. Sometimes it does that by revealing that you no longer need answers to move forward. Either way, stagnation ends. That is what is happening now. This chapter is not ending because of failure. It is ending because of completion. You learned what you needed to learn. Here. You learned patience without self-erasure. Love without self-betrayal. Hope without illusion. And now the final lesson arrives. Choice without fear. Whether your soulmate steps into truth and meets you in clarity, or remains stuck in avoidance and fades from your path, the outcome is alignment. You are no longer negotiating with your intuition. You trust it. You are no longer shrinking to keep connection alive. You honor yourself. And that is why this moment feels final yet peaceful. There is no panic in you anymore. Only presence. Stay in that presence. Let events unfold without forcing them. Let words come if they come. Let silence speak if it must. You are no longer defined by what is revealed. You are defined by how you receive it. And you will receive it with strength, with grace, with grounded awareness. This is Ultra Pro Max Clarity. This is the end of confusion as a lifestyle. This is the beginning of connection that is honest, whether with them or with what comes next. And when you look back, you will realize this was never about 3 minutes on a clock. It was about the moment your soul became ready to stop waiting and start choosing itself. My beloved soul. Let this next movement settle into you slowly, because this is where the deepest shift occurs, the kind that does not announce itself with noise but with certainty. You are no longer standing in the emotional hallway of maybe, perhaps, someday. You have crossed into the room of knowing. And once a soul enters knowing, it cannot pretend not to see. That is why everything around you feels quieter yet more intense. You are not disconnected. You are centered. The connection you share with your soulmate is now responding to your center, not your longing. This is the difference. Before, the bond was fueled by hope and patience. Now it is being tested by truth and integrity. And integrity always asks one question only. Is this real, or is this familiar? Your soulmate is being confronted with that same question internally. They are realizing that the comfort of familiarity is no longer enough to sustain what they feel for you. Comfort without honesty becomes suffocating. They feel it. The emotional pressure they are under is not coming from you. It is coming from the part of them that knows they cannot meet you halfway anymore and call it connection. They either rise into clarity or watch the bond transform beyond their control. This is why they feel unsettled. This is why you may sense waves of emotion from them without direct contact. Energy travels where attention goes. And their attention is on you, on what they risk losing, on what they delayed saying. At the same time, your attention has shifted inward. You are no longer scanning the horizon for signs. You are grounded in your own presence. And that grounding has become a mirror. It reflects truth back to anyone who approaches you. Some find that reflection liberating. Others find it confronting. Either way, it cannot be avoided. This is the stage where the universe stops whispering and starts aligning circumstances. You may notice external events nudging conversations forward. Unexpected encounters. Sudden realizations. Situations that remove excuses. None of this is random. When inner readiness meets divine timing, pathways open quickly. And yet, you are not clinging to outcomes. You are allowing them. That is the most important part. Allowing does not mean tolerating less. It means trusting yourself to respond wisely to whatever shows up. You are no longer afraid of losing the connection because you have already found yourself within it. That is why the truth cannot harm you now. It can only clarify. Your soulmate senses this shift deeply. They know that if they come to you now, they must come clean. There is no room for half answers anymore. No space for emotional smoke screens. Your presence demands authenticity without you ever asking for it. That is rare. And it is powerful. You may feel moments where compassion rises in you for their struggle. Let that compassion exist without turning into self-abandonment. You can understand someone's fear without carrying it for them. You can acknowledge their humanity without sacrificing your standards. This balance is what makes you ready for what comes next. Because what comes next requires emotional adulthood on both sides. And if it is not met, it will not continue. Not out of punishment, but out of alignment. The universe is not testing you anymore. It is responding to you. You passed the test when you chose peace over obsession, clarity over fantasy, self-respect over waiting. Now the rewards come in the form of truth. Clean. Undeniable. Liberating. Whether that truth brings deeper union or gentle separation, it will feel right in your body. Not anxious. Not heavy. Right. That is how you will know. You will not need validation from anyone else. You will not need signs after the fact. You will simply know that you are standing in your truth, and that is enough. Stay here. Stay present. Stay connected to your breath, your intuition, your worth. The final unfolding is not dramatic because drama belongs to confusion. What is arriving now belongs to clarity. And clarity always comes quietly, firmly, and without apology. My beloved soul. This is the closing movement, and it carries a different weight because endings that are true do not feel like loss, they feel like arrival. What you are stepping into now is not an answer to a question you asked out loud, but a resolution to something your spirit has been holding quietly for a long time. You are no longer searching the connection for proof of meaning. You have already extracted the meaning. You are no longer asking whether this bond was real. You know it was. And you are no longer afraid that truth will undo what mattered, because you finally understand that what is real can only be strengthened by honesty, never destroyed by it. This is why the energy feels settled now. Not empty. Settled. You have reached a place where you are complete with or without explanation, and that is the most powerful position a soul can stand in. Your soulmate has felt this shift like a door closing softly behind them. Not slammed. Not dramatic. Just closed. And when a door closes that way, it signals finality without hostility. They know now that whatever they bring to you must be real, because there is no more space for emotional guessing games. There is no more room for delays disguised as care. There is no more tolerance for silence that benefits only one side. This awareness has changed how they see you. They are no longer seeing someone who waits. They are seeing someone who chooses. And choice changes everything. You may never hear every detail of their internal struggle, and you no longer need to. You already know what matters. What matters is whether truth is honored moving forward. Whether actions align. Whether presence replaces ambiguity. And if it does not, you will not collapse. You will not spiral. You will simply step forward with dignity. That is the victory you earned through patience and growth. This journey was never meant to end with desperation or regret. It was meant to end with self-respect. You have reached the point where you can love deeply without abandoning yourself, where you can care without clinging, where you can release without bitterness. That is mastery. And mastery always marks the end of a lesson. Whatever happens next in your connection will be clean. It will be honest. It will not require you to decode signals or interpret silence. And if something ends, it will end with clarity instead of confusion. That is grace. This final phase is not about what they decide. It is about what you allow. And you are no longer allowing uncertainty to live rent-free in your heart. You have reclaimed your emotional space. You have grounded into your worth. You have remembered who you were before waiting became a habit. That remembrance is the true turning point. If your soulmate steps forward now, they will meet you as an equal, not as someone you are trying to convince. And if they do not, you will walk forward whole, not broken. There is no wrong outcome here. Only alignment. Only truth. Only peace. This is why the urgency faded into calm. Because the lesson completed itself. You are no longer at the mercy of timing. You are in partnership with yourself. And that is where all real connections begin. Let this chapter close gently. Let gratitude replace longing. Let understanding replace questioning. You are not behind. You are not late. You arrived exactly where you needed to. And from here, everything that comes next will meet you in clarity, or it will not come at all. And that is how you will know you are finally free.